Pakistan not being able to end the tail and tail enders not being able to bat. As a tail as old as Odyssey probably. And this is Amar Lal. With me is Hamza Tariq, and we are back on the follow-on. Yes, Hamza, how are you feeling?
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Follow On. This is Hamza alongside Amar. One thing to notice is that as we make more and more episodes, Amar's intro game is going up.
Yeah, that's my focus now. That's what I am banking on for this podcast.
Yep, so what are we going to talk about? We're essentially going to talk about two things. We will talk about the recently concluded Pakistan versus West Indies first test match where we lost again. And the second thing we're going to do is doing a quick preview of the second match scheduled to start today.
It's I think the toss hasn't happened because of the weather conditions, and it seems like it's going to be a slight delay. I don't know how is the weather looking up because I haven't really looked at it, but apparently it's not very good. But let's see if it starts. If it starts in between, we'll mention something. But so essentially the first test, right? And of course we lost by 90 fucking runs, which is almost equal to what we actually scored in the second innings. So yes, Hamza, do you want to take a first glance and give us an overview of that?
Yep, so I think the last time out we speak about the day one of the series where West Indies were batting. They batted really well, and we talked about the importance of Pakistan needing to get wickets early in at day two, and I think that's exactly what they did. They got Kevin Hodge out quick early. He started the day batting at 82, got out for 84. Shai Hope was into his 50, so we didn't let him score 100. But I think one consistent theme that we've seen so far, and we'll touch down upon it, is that our inability to get the tail out quickly. And with that, West Indies scored a total of 311 runs by lunch day two. Do you want to cover that? Or
I mean, I just looking at it, right? So, it's a comparison between our tail and their tail, right? And that's a major problem for me because we are unable to get the wickets, and then our tail seems like they do not have any answers to any kind of ball being bowled to them. So, give you a comparison, right? For example, our tail, including of Ali Usman, Khurram Shahzad, Muhammad Ali, and Mohammad Abbas, scored total of only 32. Scored a total of 32 with Mohammad in the second innings, and Mohammad Abbas scored 23. So most of it is being scored by him. In comparison, Shema Joseph scored 38. So you are one guy technically, and there Kamar Roach also scored 18. Jomel Varikan, if that's how you pronounce his name, scored 14, and Jaden Seals also scored 6, which is the sixth man. So my problem is that your tail, like these 30-40 runs difference, eventually steal you that victory or give you some sort of edge. But the moment we lose one wicket, we lose all of them, the entire collapse happens. And then you are unable to score a fucking run. Like, I will get to Babar Azam and why that happened. But despite of that, like your tail is unable to score runs. And that's really bothering because it is a repeated pattern. And you brought in Ali Usman, you brought in Amir Jamal, and all of these, but nothing's happening. Nothing seems to work.
I think it's not even just the 30 runs, right? Technically speaking, it's 60 runs that's making the delta because you let them score a 30 additional runs and then you also are unable to score those 20-30 quick runs. And I think this is not just in this particular match. I think this was the same problem that we are facing in the recent past. Even in Bangladesh, I remember we would struggle with the same, right? We would get 5-6 wickets and then the 7th or the 8th wicket partnership would be around 100 runs. I think it was the first match or something. I'm forgetting who was batting. It was maybe Lytton Das, but I'm not sure. The problem, like you said, is persistent with this, right? Like every match or every innings, you're losing out on those, creating that 50 runs delta on both sides, which is essentially how much you lost the match by, right? You lost it by 90 runs, and those 60-ish runs could have made a long way.
Let's take a difference. Like, for example, if you lost by 90 runs, last 4 batsmen for West Indies in the first innings scored around 27. In the second innings, they scored around 70 runs. So, and your batsman had, like Khurram Shahzad had 19 and then Mohammad Ali had 2 in the first innings, which is around 20. And the second innings, you practically also had 32, like brilliant performance by Mohammad Abbas. And then that's where your delta is so big that you're losing by 90 runs because your tail is unable to do it. But let's get a bit on bowlers as well, right? We'll get to come to selection later, whether who should have played, who should have not played. Why does it, like, we change the fucking captain, but we still are unable to get those wickets? Like, it should not be so tough to get the lowest ranked team wickets in test, to get their tail enders, which are the worst batters to begin with, in their circle. Like, How is that making any sense to me? Like, explain it to me.
I mean, absolutely, and I think one thing that is consistent in both the matches is the lack of pace in our bowling attack as compared to the opposition having much more pace, right? Like even in Bangladesh, we had the likes of Taskin, Nahid Rana bowling those quicker ones versus here even they had Shamari Joseph, Sears and Roach. These guys were consistently hitting those 140, 135, bowling somewhere around that range. And as opposed to us, I think the singular dimension in which our bowlers bowl is something that's provides a lack of a cutting edge, which is why we struggle as much as we do.
पर मुझे समझ नहीं आता, मुझे यही मसला है कि like to begin with, for example, I realized Daisy basically Mohammad Ali bowled very well, right? I think it was Sama Joseph who was playing it like T20. He has a strike rate of 140, and then Mohammad Ali realized that he's playing it like T20. So let's take him like a T20 guy. So what he did, he started bowling him cutters and eventually got him out. Now, eventually, this is what my bigger problem is, that Muhammad Ali bowls around 135, 136. Abbas also, like, he's a great bowler, but he doesn't have the pace because that's not his unique ability. Yeah. The reason why Waqar and Wasim worked is because both of them bowled as a pair. The reason why Imran Khan worked, to be really honest, was because he had Waqar and Wasim. The reason why Asif and Muhammad Amir worked was because both of them had pair. The reason why at some point Irfan and Junaid worked is because both of them had a pair. So, is partnerships are in bowling or fast bowling is as important as partnership in like batting, right? Yeah. So if we understand that logic, you do not still bring in someone to support Mohammad Abbas, who has the best average in like all of country's history. You are still unable to bring someone like Ubaid Shah. You are unable to bring in someone fast like, I don't know, Shahnawaz Dani, for example, to support him. That seems like a huge blunder that you are making.
And absolutely, I think it's very important to talk about Mohammad Abbas, right? Like the poor guy has played only 33 matches in his test career so far. I mean, and he's consistently been one of the best bowlers. And I know what you're quoting, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was quoting essentially is that since he has debuted, Pakistan has played 63 matches and he has only played around 30. So technically, he has only played half of them. And most out of that, 1/3 of them, which is around 10 or 11, comes from, by the way, the stats cadets goes to backward point. That's why I heard it. So 10 out of 30 comes from in Asian conditions, which means he hasn't been given a very fast bowling friendly conditions as well. But it's unfortunate that he was always sidelined by when Babar Azam was captain, or using archive intelligence. I don't know what goes on in that.
Yeah, because I think there was a spell in between 2021 and 2024 where he went almost 3 years without playing a test match. So he played on 20th August 2021 against West Indies in the West Indies, funnily. And then afterwards, there was a 3-year gap before which at the end of 2024, he played another match against South Africa at Centurion. Yeah. So that 3-year gap for me is appalling because for me, he's a test match specialist, right? Even if subcontinent conditions don't really support him, if you pair him with someone who can bowl quicker on the other hand, that contrast in pace and that contrast in the bowling styles could really make a, I would say, multi-varied.
And you need to understand that what is his strength. So everyone, like the reason why he's so successful in county and he comes in the likes of James Anderson and Stuart Broad, or even like why people rate him so highly in, let's say, nets, etc. The simple reason is that he can, like, if you keep literally a coin, he will keep bowling on that coin for as long as he can. And that's his uniqueness. But so for you, and he does not have the pace, but his ability to do that continuously is what makes him unique. But you need to pair him with someone who gives him that support, like who gives him that, sheer pace and get the tail ender out. Because let's say I'm like not against Muhammad Ali. He bowled very well. Like he still got a lot of wickets. He was amazing and all of that. I'm not against him. But he's not that pace guy at the end of the day.
I think that's the same situation with Hassan Ali when he was playing the test cricket. I think for me, Hassan, Khurram, Muhammad Ali, Abbas, when you play these guys together or, few of them together, it's the same problem. Your attack does not have the variation or the surprise element, right? Exactly. And I think that was the same story is with Shaheen Shah, right? When he was playing, he was also not bowling at that.
He had more than one story, but yeah.
But yeah, I think the lack of variation or the lack of pace in the attack is really concerning, right? We've already talked about it in the past couple of podcasts, but I think and I think that sort of brings into the bigger theme of the day. For me, I think definitely you need to play Ubaid Shah in the next match, because at least the guy is going to give you some pace, right?
Yeah.
He can bowl that 140.
I mean, and you have nothing to lose. You are playing the worst team except you in this World Test Championship, right? And technically, you have nothing to lose because you have lost everything that there is to lose.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at if they've announced the squad yet. I don't see it.
Yeah,
But
the toss
apparently,
is not
Babar, no, toss apparently happened, and he said he would like to bat first.
right.
And that they would, and I think that's just because I don't know why they're doing it, because they will have to bat in the fourth innings.
Which is our death. But did they announce a lineup?
They didn't announce the lineup, but at least it's not on the ESPN yet. I don't know what's like. Maybe it's coming in between, because it also says match delayed by wet outfield. But there's a comment on this here. They essentially that it says that imagine one day all three Shah brothers playing together in a test match for Pakistan. So I'm assuming they are in. He's in. But let's get to that later. Like if you have more information.
But
Now, like, okay, you talked about this, right? And we talked about this one-dimension bowler, and both of us agree in like theory that this Mohammad Abbas can only be as good as he is if you give him this right support. And right now, we're not giving him the right support.
absolutely, I think it's very important to have complementary skill set, right? You look at the best bowling attacks in the world. Across all formats, you need to have complementary skill sets to each other, right? The reason why India is so successful in T20 cricket in recent times is because they've paired Bumrah with the right skill set of bowlers, right? Because Arshdeep is a new ball specialist. He bowls in, he comes in, swings the ball early on. So you know that gives the captain the flexibility of bowling Bumrah when they need a wicket.
Like, for example, even Hardik Pandya and all of these guys give him that support that Bumrah needs. And again, like Bumrah is exceptional. Bumrah is top. Like he's S tier. No one like
Double S tier, yeah.
yeah. Like Mohammad Abbas is very good. He's excellent. He's great, but he's not as close as Bumrah. Like if I'm being honest, so he would probably need more support than Bumrah does. And more importantly, I think we need to understand why we are losing the test, and we are losing the test simply because we are unable to take the tail wickets, and we have tried changing the captain, which now I want to come back to. Is just like I didn't see any new thing in Babar's captaincy. Like he came back, and obviously I didn't watch day by day, and like obviously it wasn't physically possible for me because we have full-time jobs. But as much as I did, he didn't excite. Like he didn't bring anything new to the table. Maybe it was first test, and I'm being critical of him. Yeah. But give me some comments on that, and also tell me which side of history do you stand on in terms of whether should Babar have farmed the strike or he should have done what he did.
Honestly, I've been as loyal of a Babar supporter as one can be. I personally don't agree with the farming the strike thing. I personally agree with what the critics are saying in this regard. I do think it was a bit inconsequential since we had already lost the match, but those things set the tonality for future also, right? Like if you as the captain of the team think that you've already lost the match, I think that sets a very bad precedent for the rest of the locker room for future matches, right? And if you're building out, let's say, a new era of test cricket or a new era for your team, you can't be doing things like that because it has such a detrimental effect on the team's momentum, on how the team's mindset is set, and especially Pakistan cricket, right? Where our biggest struggle historically has been mindset, right? Yeah. So that's something that bothered me a bit in terms of day-to-day decisions, or not day-to-day, but on the field decisions. I feel like the sample size is too small for us to comment on. I do hope that one thing that they do improve on is that not just focus on desperation for 20 wickets, because you also need batters, right? And that's one theme that I would want to touch upon.
That's my personal opinion, that you do not win the test match by batting 10 batters. You win the test match by bowling 4 bowlers. And if you do not get those 4 bowlers correct, you lose. By the way, while we are at it, apparently Pakistan has dropped Mohammad Abbas, and Babar Azam has said that they have made 4 changes. I don't know what the changes are, but Mohammad Abbas has been dropped because Babar is saying it's because of the conditions. I want to get surprised as to what these conditions are.
I think they're more sprint friendly.
It could be sprint friendly, but if there's one bowler you still have to play, that bowler has to be Mohammad Abbas.
That's very interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. The squad is not. I don't see the squad yet, so let's see. But yeah, I think so. My problem with Babar was, and I was like, we have this. I was talking to people, and then so I agree on one side that maybe when we lost our wickets. Okay, so it has come up. Abdullah Shafiq and Sajid Khan come in, which is obviously because of the injury. and Amir Jamal, Khurram Shahzad, and Shan, along with Abbas are out.
So it's Abdullah. So Amir Jamal.
It's Ubaid Shah, Awais Zafar, okay, Mohammad Abbas, and are dropped.
Alongside Amir Jamal. So Amir Jamal, Khurram Shahzad, Shan Masood, and Abbas are out. Shan makes sense because he was injured. He had a hairline fracture. Let's talk about that a little bit as well. And I think it's a like-to-like replacement with Awais Zafar. So I think congratulations to Awais Zafar for making his test team.
And also to Ubaid Shah, of course. Yeah. So it's Azan Awais, Imam Ulaq, Abdullah Shafiq, one down, which comes in for Shad Masood. Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan, Salman Ali Agha, Mohammad Awais Zafar, which comes in for Ali Usman, I believe.
No, Ali Usman is still being.
Mohammad Awais Zafar comes in for Amir Jamal. And then Ali Usman, which means there's Shajid Khan, who comes in for Abbas, maybe.
And Khurram Shahzad. And
Muhammad Ali and Ubaid Shah.
So, thoughts?
I mean, look, there has to be, look, I like Muhammad Ali. But there has to be some explanation as to why you would pick him over Abbas. Considering he's more experienced, he gives you much more, doesn't give you much more variety, but he has a skill set which Muhammad Ali doesn't.
Right.
I'm not saying Muhammad Ali was bad in the last test, but I felt like dropping Abbas does not seem fair to me, to be really honest. Everything else I think is forced. You had to bring in Ubaid Shah in.
And you had to bring in an extra spinner as well, right? Because of the conditions.
And Masood was injured, so you couldn't really do a lot about that. So maybe that's fair, but I am not comfortable with dropping Abbas.
I agree with the Abbas thing. However, I think on the positive side, I am very excited I'm very excited to see Ubaid Shah. I'm very excited to see Awais Zafar as well. It's always nice to see a young bloke coming in and making his debut. I'm also excited to see how Ali Usman does because he was below average in the first match, if I were to put it.
Also nerves, maybe, because let's come to that, right? So Ali Usman was sold to us as a, what do you call it? Essentially as someone who can bat and ball as well, and that's why he is there, because he provides us with depth. And what I did, I spent some time, that his batting average is around 22, and then in domestic circuit, and he's only scored one century, and he was not out in that, and that is why his batting average is being skewed towards that. So I don't know where Aqib got this impression that he is a batsman, because whatever I saw of the test, he did not look like a batsman at all. Like, he looked like a very...
I think it's just desperation for me to convert bowlers into all-rounders. Yeah. It looks like on the surface he's not a bowling all-rounder by any means. Yeah. He's not maybe one. And I was just thinking the other day whether, I know it contradicts the whole philosophy that we are going ahead with sticking people to format specifically. Yeah. But do you think right now maybe Arafat could be one?
I mean, I don't think we should rush Arafat into test, to be really honest, just because I think I see him as a future in the white ball. So I want to keep him personally in the white ball so that he can,
thrive in that format.
He can thrive in that format, and we have always made this mistake of mixing formats and bringing people in.
Yeah, because I was just thinking of, when I see him, I would want him to be our answer to Ravindra Jadeja, right? And Jadeja was an all-format player.
100%. No, I agree. But I think maybe it's too early for him right now. He should be answered, but maybe later on. 100%. But yeah, let's
talk about our batting a bit, right? We've touched upon the bowling. We've touched upon players who played, who got replaced. We've talked about the lineups coming into the second match itself. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the batters, right?
Let's go batter by batter maybe. And we go towards first 5 or 6.
Right, yeah. So let me just give a brief overview of our batting itself. So when in the first innings we scored a total of 282 runs. Azan Awais couldn't score, got out on a 0. Imamul Haq and Shan Masood, I think, struck a wonderful partnership. They gave us the start that we needed, batted for a while.
And Imam looked very good in that inning.
Yeah, Imam looked very nice. Imam played 102 balls, scored 63 runs, was a pretty handy knock. But the star of the show for the first innings was, of course, Shan Masood. I think he bounced back really well. His spot in the team was threatened. He just got stripped of the captaincy. So maybe he was relieved of that pressure.
Maybe. And honestly, Shan Masood for last couple of years has not been that bad as a batsman.
But he's not been great either, right? His average was around 30.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 years. So there was...
But he has the highest average in our team.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
So I was looking up this stat. I don't know if I can find it immediately, but he has the highest average.
That's very interesting.
Batsman in this World Test Championship.
Okay, that's interesting. So that just speaks volumes about how inconsistent we have been. So if there are people gunning for the highest average batsman spot, including me, that just shows across the board we have been very inconsistent. But I think Shan played 109 was brilliant. But I think the disappointment of the innings was that after Shan and Imam, no one really stringed a good score, right? Babar got a start, disappointingly got out. Salman Aga got a start. Rizwan didn't perform. Amir Jamal, Ali Usman, so on and so forth. And we've already talked about the tail not scoring a lot of runs. And I think we bundled out for 282. And then we were set out to bat in the in the fourth innings. I think in the third innings, our bowlers did a wonderful job. The pitch was also changing a bit. So we set a target of 211 and we got bundled out for 120. Across the board, a shambolic performance. I think one contributing factor was that Shan Masood had a hairline fracture in the third innings while fielding, and which is why he came in at number 7 with a fractured arm.
And he couldn't really bat. You could see that he's struggling.
And that is where the onus came on Amir Jamal and Ali Usman to step up as all-rounders, but I think they didn't as well alongside the rest of the batting lineup. The only batter who made some sort of notable contribution was Babar Azam, stayed not out at 58. And of course Mohammad Abbas, who played really well.
Yeah, he played really well. He was hitting the ball very well.
But yeah, we got bundled out for 120, and I think across the board, if I were to say honestly, like the only standout batter from the first test was Shan Masood. एंड वो हम कहते हैं ना कि पाकिस्तान क्रिकेट में क्या यार अपनी जगह जिस बल्लेबाज की बच गई हो इस मैच का, तो वो 2 बल्लेबाज ही थे, बाबर था और एक इमाम था.
हाँ, बाबर ने अपनी जगह बचा ली है, बट एट व्हाट कॉस्ट? लाइक ही डिड दैट, but see, like if I'm being honest, I mean he always had this tag with him, which is that he's a selfish player. He plays for stats and everything. In instances like these where you are an experienced batsman, you are probably, as we call it, the peak of the batsman. You have been in the circuit for so long. You cannot have such a brain fade movement where you are unable to. You are giving the strike to tail enders like at the second ball of the over. More importantly, if your tail ender like Mohammad Abbas, who bats at 11, can swing a fucking bat and score boundaries, and you are unable to do that, or you are not willing to put that risk, I think you need to go back and reflect as to what I am doing wrong. And I think that was my biggest problem with Babar, even if I support him so much.
Yeah.
My problem with him will still remain that. Like, you cannot do that. You need to be much more, you need to have much more game sense than just that.
Absolutely, right. Like, anyways, moving on to what are your expectations of the second match? Like, who are the players you are watching out for? Who is at risk of getting dropped if they don't perform? And yeah.
So if I'm being very, very honest, I think I am not expecting us to win this test match. At best, we'll draw it.
Yeah.
I'll be happy if we win it, but I don't see us realistically winning it.
Yeah.
And what am I excited about? I'm definitely excited about to see Ubecha. I think I've been wanting to see that guy for a very long time.
Yeah.
And not because of any other reason, but I just think he's an exceptional talent who has worked on himself a lot. Yeah. And I think he deserves all of this that he is getting right now, and hopefully more later on. So I'm really excited to see him. I think it is the last test match, last test match that Imam Ulaq plays for me if he does not stand up.
Yeah.
I mean, it should have been long ago, but now it is definitely the last. And I don't have anything against the guy. I think he was great when he was, playing well. Yeah. But right now it's not for him. Other than that, I think Mohammad Rizwan and Salman Ali Aga need to step up. And for me, it's not like last test match for them or anything, but I really have some expectations from them that they are able to score big, especially since it's a spin-friendly condition. Then these two are supposedly our best spin batsmen, so I'm expecting them to show up. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think from my side, more or less similar things. Very excited to see Ubaid. High expectations from Imam, Abdullah Shafiqs, Shan Masood. Shan is not playing. Aga and Rizwan. I think Rizwan especially would be under a bit of a threat since even in the ODI series, Ghazi Gori did come up. They're pushing him a bit. Yeah. So he needs to step up his game if he needs to keep his place in the team in the longer run. Excited to see how Azan West bounces back. Right, he would be in a little bit of pressure as well with England series fast approaching. I think if he fails here and fails in England, then there are chances that he gets dropped. I would not want that. He's really worked on himself, and
he's come after a lot of struggle.
Yeah, so I would definitely rooting for him to step up. But I think with that being said, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So let's see. We'll try to keep you guys updated once the test series ends next week. But when this podcast does go live on YouTube or on Instagram, the match would have already started. So just a bit of a disclaimer. And yes, we are trying a bit of background changes, etc. So do let us know which one you prefer. Do you prefer the one with the sofa in the background, or just the chairs?
Yeah.
Do let us know.
And Hamza is also in a bit of shifting. So
Yeah, I'm currently shifting cities and houses, so you'll see a bit of a transitionary backgrounds for the next couple of episodes.
But hopefully, yeah, I think it was a good talk. I just really hope, and that's the end note that I want to end it with, is that in times of these where your sport's falling already in a format which is already very compromised, you probably need some wins, some glimpse of hope that your fans can, cling on.
Yeah.
I think Pakistan needs to provide it to their fans. Like, you're not playing England, you're not playing Australia, you're not playing India. You are playing literally the second worst team after you in a World Test Championship.
Yeah.
Show some spine. It would be nice to see that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. On that end, let's conclude. Please follow on for more.
And,
Yeah. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.